Anil, you have said that you want to improve the lives of people all around the world, and that's a pretty bold mission. Tell us how your software company, Informatica, is doing that.
Think of your average consumer. You have 7 billion consumers growing to 10 billion consumers. And a consumer, every individual on the planet is using food, water, transportation, energy, etc., healthcare. And everybody wants more of all of those things. That's what improves their living standards. But that means that every company that provides those services, they are really our customers. We're a data management software company. We help them become more productive. Each one of those companies has to become more productive and efficient. And that's what we're helping. And when we say it's a grand ambition, but we believe that by helping all of these companies, we can help make the world a better place to live for consumers all around the world.
Now, I understand that your company played a very critical role in reducing the impact of Hurricane Maria when it hit Puerto Rico a year ago. What did you do?
We actually worked with the FDA. The Food and Drug Administration has been a long-standing customer of ours. They use a lot of our products to understand the data related to production facilities for critical drugs. And it turns out a lot of drugs are produced in Puerto Rico. So when the FDA realized that the hurricane was going to hit Puerto Rico, they were able to use the data to make alternate arrangements, to make sure that hospitals, etc., were getting the supply of drugs from a different source. I think it's a great example of the use of data to make the world a better place.
As you know, many business leaders believe that they can and should do a better job in addressing the needs of society.
Correct.
How do you feel about that kind of leadership?
Well, I agree with that. Now, my view is every leader, in addition to driving their business, is best placed to pick one or two things that they are good at that will help drive a mission in society as part of a program that their company is doing, or as part of their personal mission. I think that's extremely important and something that I really subscribe to.
We're hearing a lot more about something called employee activism, where employees are turning to their CEOs or business leaders and asking them to take a stand, to take action on some social issue that's of importance.
Yeah.
When does it make sense, in your view, to do something like that, and when doesn't it make sense?
I think where it makes real sense is, I think especially if it's aligned with the mission of the company. So we have a clear mission for our company. As long as it's aligned with the mission of the company, it absolutely makes sense. If it's not aligned with the mission of the company, we actually make it possible for employees to do it on their own, but it doesn't make sense for the company to be involved.
Do you feel that there would be times that outside of Informatica's business mission that it would make sense for you to speak up on something?
Absolutely. If it was something personal to me that impacted me in a certain way that I would want to speak up, I absolutely would. Is that me speaking or Informatica speaking? I know there's sometimes, that becomes a harder line. It's probably the line is blurry. I do think people should speak up for what impacts them personally, where they feel it. But I think from a company perspective, there has to be some connection to the overall mission.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of Informatica's customers are big Fortune 500 companies like Ford and Amazon and Bank of America. What's been the impact of your value system, your brand of leadership on your customers, but also your employees and your shareholders?
I think the biggest impact has been, one, they look at us and say, this is a company we want to do business with, because we share the values of a lot of our customers. We are here for the long term. We are here not just to deliver a better profit just in the short term, but really be there with them in their transformation over the long term. I think it's actually made us a better company to do business with. I think it has increased their confidence in us.
What about the flip side of that? Would you take on a customer who doesn't share your value system or doesn't have your belief system?
No, we try not to, because one of the things that we work very closely with our sales teams, etc., is to understand what customers are doing with the data and with the technology, and if there's fundamentally a mission that we believe does not align with where we are, we try not to do that kind of business.
Does it make your job as CEO more difficult?
Absolutely. I think because you have to look at, it was much easier when it was just a score, the scorecard was purely financial. I think it definitely makes the job more interesting, not just difficult. But I think it is certainly more, I would say, more challenging when you have to balance all of these dimensions where there's not really a right answer. I mean, you will only know over time whether that answer was right or not. So there's a lot of learning involved, and there's a lot of a need to be humble and figure out the answer as we go along.